Oh, hey there,
Hey,
Oz.
buddy, what's up?
Hey, what movie we watching this week?
This week, I'm going to save us some time, and instead of watching Joanna Man, The Neverending Story 2, Major League, and
Yeah.
Punchline,
Okay.
we're just going to watch Ladybugs.
Chihuahua Man. When I think Rodney Dangerfield, I think Chihuahua
I
Man.
do too. So welcome back, listeners and viewers, to another week of Let's Talk About Flicks, the podcast where we take a monthly theme and dissect it into very microscopic weekly parts. I'm one of
Bite-sized pieces.
I'm one of your hosts, Oz.
I am the other host,
And
Curtis.
before we get rolling, I do want to give a shout out to our Patreon subscribers, Don S., Aaron A., Mandy K., Melissa L., and Colin K. Thank you once again for your patronage. Ladybugs.
Yes, as we continue Lady Movie
Ladies.
Month here in July 2024, Lady Movie Month, coming after Man Movie Month last month. So yeah, we're hitting everything on the gender spectrum.
We are. So, and this one is definitely a crossover.
Well, in some ways, I don't know how well it represents that,
Right.
but
not at all.
I can't even say it's trying because it's really
not. No, there's not a lot of effort in this one.
We'll just say this movie has not aged well.
No, and it's such a simple premise.
Yeah.
Like, you look at it, you're like, okay, this could be a real, like, just a simple feel-good type of premise, and then they just muck it all up. Like, with just really bizarre choices, because it was like,
you're right. Yeah,
everything in this is like, what a nice little family film. Like, it gives Rodney Dangerfield an opportunity to, like, because I
be a wholesome actor.
Like I'll never, like, to be fair, like, I may have seen 3 Rodney Dangerfield movies, you know.
I think there's really only 3. It's This Summer School and Caddyshack.
Yeah, and don't forget Rover Dangerfield, the animated movie. But I mean, he's clearly not in much. But I've never really looked at Dangerfield as being like a dirty comic either, you know, to where like Bob Saget went Full House for his wholesome turn. Like Dangerfield,
he's filthy.
Yeah, like Dangerfield's stand-up is really fairly clean. I mean, his language, I mean, from what little I've seen of it, it doesn't appear to be he's this, you know, just real vile comedian.
It's like joke punchline.
Exactly.
He's a very simple formula.
Right.
For his
and
comedy.
It works for him because he fits the look and et cetera, et cetera. But this was an opportunity to be like, okay, here's the, you know, the Walter Matthau role of Bad News Bears. You know, of like, oh, look, he could be lovable. And then it's like, ew.
And then they're racist and misogynistic and homophobic.
Ew. And it's like, and you don't even get saved by the 80s. Like, it's 92.
No. Yeah, you should know better.
Yeah, it's just...
Yeah, Clinton was almost in office.
Yeah, this is just... Yeah.
And if there's one person who knows about misogyny, it's Bill Clinton.
It's William Clinton.
it's Will Clinton.
So it's my plot month or week. So you give us this Academy Award winning cast.
I will give you this cast of thespian actors. We start with the aforementioned Rodney Dangerfield as Coach Chester Lee.
Yeah.
Working for, was it some kind of
a company?
It works for Company Incorporated.
He does job at Company, and he's trying to get promoted to vice job or something.
To vice job at Company Incorporated. His coworker, Julie, played by Jackie Harry from 227 fame. She's there too.
Yep, she's there too. You're right, she's there too.
She's there also. Then we have Jonathan Brandis,
which could arguably be in this movie the best actor of the crew. Which is
says a lot.
Which is saying very little and a lot at the same time. But it's like, yeah.
Yep. He plays Matthew, who's the son of Bess, played by Elaine Graff, who Rodney Dangerfield is dating and I think engaged with.
It's on again, off again.
It is. Yeah, and Jonathan's a really good soccer player. He and Chester don't have a good Matthew. good soccer player. Does not have a good relationship with Chester at the beginning of the movie.
He's a good soccer player because they tell us he is. We never see him on a male soccer team.
No.
He's really good at it, guys. Yep. Take my word.
We have let's see, Chester's boss, Dave Mullen, who is president at his job as president at Company Incorporated. Yep. Is played by Tom Parks, and then there's his wife, Kimberly, played by Vanessa Shaw, Vin. I think related to Vin Diesel.
I think so.
Related by first name.
Yeah. Or Jeremy, like when she was in the movie, I'm sure it was Vinsanity. Like, we got her, guys. We got her.
Also married, or also related to Vince McMahon.
Yeah.
And then there's their daughter, Glynis Mullen, played by Janetta Arnett, who's also on the soccer team.
Flip those.
Oh, did I get it mixed up? Oh, you're right. I was doing that as I was taking notes, too.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's right.
Kimberly's the daughter.
Kimberly's the daughter. And then Glynis, played by Janetta Arnett, is the wife.
Right.
There we go. Thank you for that. We then have some kids who are on the team. I'm not even like there's a what do you get, a Well Felt, and we got a Penny Pester, and we got some other people. Tommy Lasorda, with a cameo at the end. We also have Blake Clark, who's one of those guys who's in Adam Sandler's
his
stable of thespians.
Yeah, what was it? The
Happy Madison.
Happy Madison Productions stable.
Yes. Yeah, he has a contract, an ongoing contract with Happy Madison.
We also get the PE teacher from Porky's as one of the opposing coaches as well.
That's right. So yeah, a lot of actors.
Yeah.
Here in Ladybugs. So hey, Oz, that's who we got. Who's in it? How about this deep, thick plot?
There's several plots to this movie. There's a win the affection of your fiance's son plot. There's a win a promotion through a weird contest of rituals. If you could take the soccer team to the championship, you can win job.
Yes, because job is dependent on performance as coach.
Yes, there's a weird, like, rebuild your confidence as a female soccer player. I mean, there's two. We'll get to this next week too. There's a very simple line that they're like, you know what? Let's splinter this. Let's see how many directions we could go to milk the runtime. And so we've got Chester, who is Rodney Dangerfield.
It really is Rodney Dangerfield.
They should have just
with a different name. Just call him Rodney.
Yeah. We've got Chester, who's in line for promotion at work, despite looking like he's 3 or 4 weeks away from retirement.
3 or 4 weeks away from the grave.
Exactly. And you get this. He gets no respect from his boss.
He gets no respect. I tell you, no respect at all.
So big left turn out of Dangerfield in this role as a man who gets no respect. So he's really out of sorts with this.
I know that's a foreign concept.
Like, when I saw this, I'm like, I almost put Punch Drunk Love because I'm like, I see Dangerfield doing with this role what Sandler did with that role in Punch Drunk Love, just really stepping out of his comfort zone. And so, and
this could have been a Happy Madison production.
Easily. So he's trying to impress his boss by saying, "I'm good at job. Give me other job.
Give me better job."
And the boss, the only thing he cares about is the company sponsored soccer team,
like girls tween soccer.
That's
team.
it. Like,
that's it.
Like, there's no like Fortune 500 crystal statues.
They're not talking about profit margins.
Nope, it is all.
Nope.
It's like seasons coming up.
Company Incorporated exists only to sponsor tween girls soccer team.
Everybody's got to have a motive. So, and Chester realizes that he's likely not going to get promotion, so he decides to tell boss man, I used to be a great soccer player. The
boss has like three in his office. Has 3 trophy cases full of tween girls like
championships. Yep.
The championship
trophies,
trophies,
year after year after year.
How long is this? This guy doesn't look that old.
No, but man, he's found the fountain of youth. Hang around tweens female soccer.
Keeps you young.
So Chester finds his way into coaching this team. Julie, his assistant, is now his assistant.
Yeah, of course.
That's how it works. Your whole department is coaching this league. So.
Yeah. She has assistant job at job.
Chester is like, this should be a piece of cake. These girls won the championship last year.
You just roll a ball, they'll take care of it.
Based on Boss's trophy cases, they win every year, so this should be fine. Like, we're going to take the Yankees approach of just funneling money into the best players around, only to find out it's a rebuilding year. Wah, wah, wah.
gotta go down to AAA.
Yeah, and
call up the prospects.
Not only is it a rebuilding year, but it is like scrubs. Like,
well, there's only one girl who was on the prior year's team left,
and she's excited to be part of a rebuilding team. But it's like it is your. I almost went like Little Giants, that Rick Moranis movie of like it's a bunch.
A lot of parallels there.
It's a bunch of just nobodies. They don't know anything about soccer. They don't like soccer. Of course, he doesn't either. So Julie brings him a book of like Idiot's Guide to Coaching Girls Soccer. When it's like step one,
the one girl's just dribbling. She dribbles out of bounds and then she just keeps going.
Right. She just
keeps going.
And does she come back? Like, yeah, she does. She's in like a field of super tall grass. And
the world is round. She'll eventually make her way back.
So,
she's not a flat earther.
And so, like you said, only the one player back. It's a whole new team, including the boss's daughter, Kimberly.
She's not good.
No, she's not even close to good.
She'd be a good field goal kicker.
Yeah, she'd be great. She'd be great at field goal kicker, like Kathy Ireland.
Kathy Ireland. Necessary roughness. Yeah. This movie is actually the prequel. To Necessary Roughness.
Kimberly grows up to be Kathy Ireland.
To be Kathy Ireland.
I don't even know which one came out first, but it doesn't matter.
Matthew grows up to be Scott Bakula.
Grows up to be Sinbad. And so first game of the season, not good. They just they get destroyed. And the boss who stalks the sidelines and only talks to Chester at breaks is like right in his face with a martini. Like,
you beat me through. He's always got a martini glass at a tween girls youth soccer game.
And so he's like, your days are numbered, Chester. You're not getting job.
In fact, you might even lose job.
Right, yeah. You'll find yourself jobless. So that's one plot line. We've got another plot line where Chester has he's built himself up at home to Bess, who is easily 25 years older than.
Yeah, and she's super sweet too, and for the most part, until the moment later in the movie, she just goes with the flow.
Yeah. So he's engaged to Bess, who has Matthew along. Matthew and Chester don't get along, but Matthew really doesn't get along with anybody. Like you mentioned earlier, he appears to be a great athlete, but his grades get him kicked off the soccer team.
Yeah, you could tell he's going through a lot. They don't really make it explicit too much in the movie, but he's a bright kid, but he's kind of given up in school.
Yeah, Chester, who up to this point I assume has been pretty honest with Bess, decides to just tell her he got the promotion.
Yeah,
and
because he's got to pay for the wedding.
Yeah, he's got to pay. So I got the promotion. So he's living a double life here as what appears to be a failed soccer team that leads to his promotion, but also
True Lies could have also
easily,
been in the movie
marriage. Yet tells his wife or tells his fiance, I got it. Like, I'm in. Yeah. I got the respect. And so
you did. Oh, good job, honey. It's the one thing you've always wanted.
So really this movie, that's the other plot line is him.
Yeah.
Now, this is where there's a lot I just don't like about Chester, aside from like,
he's not a good person.
Aside from pulling it, pulling this little scam on his fiance. It's like every like 20 to 30-year-old woman in this movie, Dangerfield gives the bug eye look at.
Yeah.
And it's like, you're supposed to be engaged, like happily, like smitten, engaged, ready for marriage. And it's like, oh, she bent over in her skirt. Wowzers. Like, it's like, and it's which one are you, Chester? Obviously,
yeah. Are you the good guy, or are you the gross
obviously
guy?
You're the gross guy because you do these things, when your fiance is not around, but yet we never see you do them to your fiance. So it's gross. We've got these two storylines of Chester keeping his relationship alive with lies and Chester trying to coach a soccer team. Luckily, though, Matthew, the one person he needs to get on his side, doesn't have a soccer practice anymore.
Yeah.
So
he's. I'm assuming he's pulling Fs at school, so he's not eligible anymore.
So he tries to extend a branch to Matthew, being like, "Look, I'll tell you what's going on. This is what happened. Here's the truth. I need your help. Like, come to the soccer practice with me. Just watch the girls. Give me some tips on how to improve. And we're good." Matthew calls him out for what it is. Like, I can't believe you're doing this to my mom. Yeah. But I love my mom, so okay. Like, I'm on board.
And he's like, I love your mom too.
Yeah. And so they're like, okay, well, I'll help you out, Chesterfield. Because he just continues to call him Chesterfield the entire rest of the movie. Which, reading in the trivia, I guess was like a Jonathan Brandis thing. Like, he would throw field at the end of people's names as like him. That's just what he did. And so they left it in. Whatever.
On set, he called Rodney Dangerfield Rodney Dangerfield. Rodney Dangerfield field.
Or just squared. Rodney Dangerfield squared.
Danger squared.
Danger squared. And so, Matthew comes and watches, and he's like, "These girls are hopeless. This is. Oh, wait a minute. There's Kimberly Bossman. Like, I have a crush on her.
Yeah.
And let's go ahead and see this 16-year-old girl run across the field in next to nothing." So
that was gross.
Yes. Ooh. So let's take this whole scene where we can sexualize this 16-year-old girl. Granted, we're supposed to be watching it through Jonathan Brandis' eyes, but we're still watching a teenage girl.
Yes, you're still seeing
through
it
a teenage boy's eyes, and it's like, that was gross. That was really gross.
Probably going to come up later.
Yeah, same. So once he realized Kimberly's there, then he's like, okay, yeah, well, Matthew's given Chester, all the info on the girls. This is what you got to do. They're terrible, hopeless, whatever. But you just got to get to fundamentals. Like, it's legit, like, team sport approach. Like, you've got to.
Yeah, I mean, he knows what he's talking about.
Yeah, he does know what he's talking about. And then, Dangerfield's eyes get 85% bigger as he's like, wait a minute. And because Matthew can read simple minds, he's like, oh no. Even at that point, really, like, it's not even clear if this is a first time watch of Ladybugs. It's not really clear what the plan is unless you've, like, of course, seen the trailer. But if you go in blind, you really don't know what Dangerfield's idea is and what Matthew's mind reading leads to. But it boils down to, why don't you dress up like a girl and join the girls' soccer team? You're great. And clearly these girls can never learn to do it without a man coming in and saving them.
And you want to play soccer, but you can't.
Here's your opportunity. And
so here's your purpose.
And of course, he's like, well, this will get me closer to Kimberly. So, okay, let's do it.
Yeah, nothing wrong can happen here.
And so we basically get the next 45 to 50 minutes of just, hey, there's a boy dressed in girls' clothing. Let's put them in super, like, even the scene where he goes he takes Matthew to get a dress. Oh, it's for his twin sister. They're the same size. Like,
yeah, just try it out.
Go on in there. And then it's like, okay, fine. And then Matthew, I got a zipper on the back of this. Like, okay, fine. Like, I could, like, those borderline struggles are like, yeah, I don't know if I could zip a zipper on my back kind of thing. But then we have to we got to go, like, too far of, like, here's, like, a mom and her, like, young child coming in. And she hears the conversation going on between Chester and Matthew in the changing room. And then realizes, oh my gosh, he's, it's gross.
It's bad. It's unnecessary.
Very unnecessary.
It's really lazy humor.
Yeah. Well, and it's the type of bit that really clouds what this movie's for.
Yeah.
Is this movie is this something that in 1992, I could rent from the video store and let my tween daughter and her sleepover friends watch this movie? Heck no. Not with scenes like this. No.
Yeah, because it's implied that there's like some kind of sexual act going on in this dressing room between Rodney Dangerfield and Jonathan Brandis' character.
Of course, we know it's innocent. The lady doesn't know. We're seeing it through her eyes, and then Dangerfield comes out and goes right up to her daughter. Oh, what a pretty young lady! I'm like, oh, so gross.
Yeah,
so gross. So Matthew is now Martha, the savior of the soccer team.
Yep.
Yada, yada, yada. They play a bunch of games. He's getting closer.
They win. They're getting good.
He's getting closer to job. We get a bit where, Kimberly and Martha have gotten close, even though it's Matthew with a wig on, in games, he's not even masking his voice. He's just straight,
just barking orders at him.
Yeah. I mean, it's and again, he knows what he's doing, but it's just a guy it's a boy with a wig on.
Yeah. But he becomes best friends though with
Kimberly.
Early she becomes best friends with Martha.
Martha
is probably the better way to put it.
I will acknowledge this. Outside of that, when Matthew was Matthew, not Matthew was Martha, and that whole really uncomfortable Kimberly running across the field scene, which. Outside of that, there really wasn't any Matthew Kimberly things going on. That I'm thankful for. Because again, you're dealing with two teenage actors. You didn't put them in sexual situations to where let's have a sleep. There was the one pool party at Kimberly's, but even I think that was gross.
But they weren't in the same they weren't framed together, they weren't shot together.
Thankfully. And so but even that was, Matthew's calling Chester, you got to come get me. I'm over, everybody, Kimberly's mom brought everybody over for a pool party.
She made us come over for a pool party.
But then and all the girls want to go skinny dipping. No, they don't. No, they don't. No, I'm not a female, but no, they don't. These preteen girls did not all get together and decide, let's strip down to nude and just go swimming together. They didn't do that.
But it's hilarious when there might be a boy
exactly,
there.
And it's that's such a stretch at a joke. Leave it at just the swimming. That's
where's the humor?
Yeah, that's because that's going to be awkward for Matthew anyway. Is just swimming with all of the girls. Even because it's
but you had to unnecessarily take it.
Yeah, because it would have been at least borderline comical to there's Jonathan Brandis in a bikini, how's he gonna hide kind of thing. Still not funny, but still at least more approachable than they all want to go skinny dipping. No, they don't.
You don't have to say that. You don't have to imply that.
Yeah, they don't. You're uncomfortable swimming with your all-girls soccer team because obviously in a soccer uniform, okay, I guess you can hide that you're a boy, but not in a bathing suit. Haha, I get it.
This movie still would have been problematic, even, but these situations, they have to make it gross.
Yes, yeah, they really
again, you said it well. Okay, well, he's in a swimsuit now, but no, they're going skinny dipping.
No, yeah, and again, no, they're not.
It's his zipper in the back of the dress is stuck. Oh, but there might be a sexual situation going on. No, no, just keep it simple.
Yeah, it is. It's gross. So, again, they win a bunch of games. We do get an attempt. Again, it falls flat because of the scenes you've given us so far. One of the girls is I'm just not pretty like the other girls. I'm okay, and we get the whole she's all that routine of why don't you let down your hair?
Yeah, Rodney Dangerfield,
of all people,
the voice of reason, and the person that you want talking to your tween daughter.
And again, if you just took this scene in a microcosm, it's not terrible. because he's not being gross. He's trying to be supportive. He's trying to be uplifting.
He's trying to do the right
but
thing.
We've seen all these other pieces of just fractured attempts at humor that when you try to get this tender side of him, you're like, wait, this is the same guy that was just oogling some girl bending over.
Yeah, it was oogling the boss's wife.
Yeah, it's like, and then he's like, well, just let down your hair, take off your cloth. Oh, and it's like, okay, it's gross, but at least you're not like, and then he throws the whole, if I were your age, I'm like, oh, no, you don't do that.
No, you don't say that.
Oh. And she's like, thanks, Chester, and it's like, man.
This movie's just gross.
It is. They keep playing soccer. They get to the championship game. We get the whole, we get the whole, well, Bess finds out.
Yeah.
The
lie finally
our
gets
two
gets
plot
caught.
lines cross when Kimberly comes to Matthews. I almost threw Mrs. Doubtfire in here for this scene alone, where Matthew is constantly up and down because he's got Chester and Mom in the kitchen, but Kimberly in like in the just the living room, and he's
running back and forth, dragging and undragging and dragging. Yeah,
and it's like, so naturally things get crossed up. He's wearing a wig. Mom figures it out, but eventually it comes to sorts where Bess is like, we're done, Chester. I'm done watching you make. Yes, you're getting along with my son, but
you're also taking advantage.
Advantage of him.
And you've been lying to me. Right. And you didn't get the promotion. Yeah.
So everything comes crumbling down.
You didn't get better job.
No good job for Chester
at Company Incorporated.
So she's mad. Of course, Matthew quits the team. Chester's boss makes Kimberly quit the team because she's embarrassing him.
Yeah, she's not good. Instead of being a supportive father, she's just not.
Get her out of there. She's embarrassing. So it's championship game. The Ladybugs are losing 3-0. They're playing whatever the mush mouth from Waterboy, his team, the American Gladiators soccer team.
Yeah, get down and give me 20.
Everybody, audience included.
that was funny. It's just the parents doing push-ups.
And so, Martha shows up at halftime. Well, Matthew shows up at halftime, reveals to the rest of the team that hey, everybody, it's me, Matthew. To which all the girls are like shocked and then like trying to get pretty. Like, girls, relax. So that gets the team fired up, realizing like, we don't need that boy. Like, almost threw Teen Wolf in my movie Marriage. Yeah. Which is sad to be like, much better movie than this. I didn't want to tarnish the name of Teen Wolf, so I went with Joanna Man instead.
Sully the name of Teen Wolf.
So Matthew reveals that he's Martha, fires up the team. Chester then they tie it up. They move some people around. Kimberly gets a penalty kick. She makes it, thankfully, wins the game.
As she kicks it, all of their eyes like go straight up, like she just booted it 100 feet in the air.
So the Ladybugs win the championship. Chester gets job because that's the only thing he depended on.
He gets promoted from job to slightly better job.
Bess and Chester get married. Matthew and Kimberly start dating. World peace is had by all. The nuclear powers of the world crumble. World hunger is no longer an issue.
Israel and Palestine have settled their differences.
It's all hinged on whether the Ladybugs could win championship. So Chester is now managing the girls' softball team, which, we see him. He's on a bus, and it's just all boys, all of it. Yeah. And he's pepping them up. All right, let's go out there. And then they all step off the bus, and they're all a bunch of girls. Yeah. Tommy Lasorda comes up. Good luck. And he's really struggling through his cameo because he's like, how can I keep up with the legend that is Rodney Dangerfield?
I know, right? It's Rodney Dangerfield. I'd be intimidated.
You know, and almost through Terminator in here, as Chester looks at the camera and drops his titular line. Well, not his titular line. Hey, I finally got some respect.
I finally got some respect.
It's Schwarzenegger's "I'll be back." Like,
yeah.
And that's Ladybugs.
That's Ladybugs, folks.
Yeah.
Oh, any final thoughts on this one, Oz?
This movie came out in 92. We turned 13 that year. So I was 12 by the time this hits video shelves, TV, etc. You know, I'm 13 years old. I like this movie a lot more as a 13-year-old than I do now.
Yes.
Watching as a 13-year-old boy, 14-year-old boy, watching a 16-year-old girl run across the soccer field in tight shorts and a sports bra, it's fine with me. As a 14-year-old boy.
Yeah.
Some of the humor was so juvenile that to a 14-year-old boy is funny. Also, again, a 14-year-old boy in 1990, you know, in the early 90s, where that humor should have known better, but it's just, again, so juvenile that it's like the Jerky Boys were funny then.
Man, cow, bull.
Exactly. And so, but yeah, movie, it being named after a creature with 6 legs, this movie doesn't have legs. Like,
hey! That was the cleverest thing.
This movie doesn't have them. So
no, it has 0 legs.
So that's my last bit is this movie was. When you said Patreon subscriber Melissa was excited that we were doing Ladybugs, after watching it again, probably the first time in as many years, was like, oh, good for you. Like, why?
I think it's the kind of like you. It's the nostalgia.
It's the nostalgia. Yeah.
There's the member berries.
It's like, hey, I remember that movie, and then I'm like,
and then
now I just refresh those memories.
Yeah. All right, folks, it's that point in the show where Oz and I each give our own unique rating about this week's movie, 1992's Ladybugs. Oz, how would you rate this flick?
I'm giving this 3 penalty kicks.
3 penalty
Missed
kicks?
them all, too, by the way. What are you giving it?
I'm just giving this a rating of gross.
Okay, that's fair.
That's all. This movie's gross. That's my rating.
And before we get to the next one, is this movie more or less gross than a movie that just leans all the way into the inappropriateness?
Like a movie 43 kind of thing,
or like Sausage Party.
I think this is
where it's like those movies are stupid and they're gross, but
they're supposed to be. You know that going in.
Right.
This movie was trying to cater.
Yeah,
it was a PG.
Yeah, I think so.
This movie was trying to cater to like a kid audience,
right?
PG-13.
Okay, still,
it's about a tween girl soccer team. Like,
right?
Yeah, this is grosser than like a Sausage Party.
Right. I was leaning that way too. It's like, you know what you're getting into there. This is an unfortunate bait and switch. If my daughter was like, "Can I watch Sausage Party? Can I watch movie 43?" No, you can't. But if I hadn't seen Ladybugs, can I watch Ladybug? Yeah, go ahead. It seems
it's about a girl soccer.
It seems wholesome, and no, it's not. Like, not even close.
No, it's really gross. Next up, folks, Oz and I have been scouring the interwebs searching for unprofessional reviews that tickle our funny bones, and we hope they tickle yours as well on our next bit, Outside Insights. Hey, Oz, what is your Outside Insight?
I've got 3. They're short.
Okay.
They're all from Amazon. The first one is from Custom Art to Imagine. It says, super funny movie. This movie is hilarious. You can't go wrong watching a Rodney Dangerfield movie. Highly recommend watching.
Yeah.
My next one, just you can't go wrong.
Can't go wrong. No.
My next one is from Patrick. In quotes, very funny movie. This movie is a classic. Why would this movie only get 1 star in the movie ratings? I give this movie 3 stars for the movie ratings and 5 stars on here. Rodney Dangerfield is so funny in this movie. The things that he comes up with is so funny. His funny movies will live on forever. R.I.P. Rodney Dangerfield. This movie will make you laugh because it makes me laugh every time I watch this on DVD. And my last one is from Lewis E. Funny man. If you like Rodney Dangerfield, you'll like this one. I gave it to a friend in a nursing home. He enjoyed it.
He was also in a coma.
Exactly. Yeah. I was wondering where his friend lived, but thankfully he's answered that question. So,
oh God.
Yeah. Those are my outside insights. What do you got?
I got two. They're both from the Internet Movie Database. The first one is a 6 out of 10. This is left from Caspian in January of 2004. It's a 6 out of 10 rating.
Okay.
This is going to sound crazy to most of you, but Ladybugs is one of a handful of films that made me want to be a filmmaker. Seriously, I was 14 when I saw Ladybugs for the first time on video. Once I watched it again. Something about the movie interested me to be a storyteller myself. The direction, the story, even the location of the film inspired me to start writing, acting, and begin taking film classes. Something about this feel-good movie made me want to make movies myself.
Oh, man.
Yes, so this movie inspired future filmmakers.
I'm very curious to see if this guy's made anything. Like, not anything good, but just anything.
Movie 43.
Yeah, Rabid Grannies or Redneck Zombies.
Yeah, just something at Trauma. Yeah. And my other one, also from the Internet Movie Database, is a 4 out of 10, left in February 2001 by Clerge. and and the subject line is Jackie Harry, Jonathan Brandis in drag. I must be in heaven. Well, I've either died and gone to heaven or just died. This movie is like a cult. You watch it once and it will never let go. You'll have to call in sick to work and cut out your social life because of this film. Ladybugs will attach itself to you and never let go until your eventual demise.
It's like a race.
So I that one, I have a feeling some was, I don't know.
Yeah.
It was trying to thread that needle between, like, I kind of like this movie, but I know I shouldn't.
Right. Yeah,
but,
that's probably appropriate.
Well, hey, folks, it is that point in the show you've all been waiting for. Our signature segment, the 3, 2, 1, in which Oz and I will each share 3 goods, 2 bads, and 1 about this week's movie, Ladybugs. Hey, Oz, what 3 goods did you narrow down as you were watching Ladybugs?
Oh man, I thought long and hard about what 3 to settle on. My first is the Clark Kent effect of that wig.
Couldn't tell it was Matthew.
Not a clue. So that was my first good. My second one, I really didn't mind Chester and Julie's relationship.
Okay.
Like Jack A as his assistant. Like,
sure,
he wasn't dismissive of her. Like, I thought their dynamic worked well for the film.
That was also one of my possible goods.
You have to go back to your scroll of other goods. Yeah. And my third is, one of my fond memories of this film was being very, very wowed by Matthew's constant sliding down the stairs during his drag and undrag sequence.
Yes. Okay.
As a teenage boy, like, that was just cool. Like, just to have that piece to slide down. We had stairs growing up, but they were just stairs. It wasn't like I had that. So watching him slide down into the beads, I was like, oh, that's so cool. So that's my third good, is watching him slide down the stairs to get dressed and undressed.
The raw athleticism of Jonathan
Brandis. So,
I mean, he went on to do Sidekicks.
He did. So. And all his parts, he was dressed like the Yeti from WCW. Like, you couldn't see him actually doing the martial arts, but yeah. So
I'm sure it was him.
I had to have been.
And not Ernie Reyes Jr.
No. So, so those are my 3 goods. What do you got?
Oh, my 3 goods. Again, there were so many to pick from. My first one is just kids running into nets is funny.
Yeah.
There's a couple of sequences of, I think it was the same kid, just kept running like into the goal
Right.
and kept running like into the
and
soccer
then reacting like she's like walked into a massive spider web. Like,
yeah, like, oh,
like I'm so stuck. Like you're really not. It's not. It's not sticky.
Yeah, you could get out. On a second one, and on a very similar note, Kim kicking the soccer ball over the goal and hitting two people on bicycles was funny.
It was funny. Who's to say that's what she was aiming at? Like,
yeah, I could score a goal, or I could boot this 50 yards over the goal and hit those two people on bicycles.
She's got a leg on her.
She does. She does have a leg. And my third is just quite simply, drag leads to good things.
It does. There you go.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Drag leads to good things. Yeah. Hey, Oz, what are your two bads?
My first one is just the sexualization of teen girls.
Oh God, that scene was so gross
and
so gross,
and so that's just not good. And my second is just. I threw Punchline in my movie marriage because this really was just an hour and a half Rodney Dangerfield stand-up sketch.
Yeah.
Like just the non-stop jokes. Like and it's Dangerfield, that's just who he is, but
yeah.
It's just non-stop. Like there'd be a conversation going on and he's got to stop to throw in a couple of, punchlines. And it got. Granted, the movie didn't have a lot of qualities to it, but that was one that was just real grating. Sure. Like, come on.
Yeah, it was just annoying.
Yeah, it's like, are you acting or not? Like, if you are, then...
Or are you just doing stand-up?
Yeah, exactly. Because it's like...
Next to a bunch of 12-year-olds.
Right, because it's like, oh, here's a scene of him and Bess in the car, and they're having enough of a conversation to then lead into 6 straight, like, punchlines. Yeah. And it's like, these poor actors on set to just... I do it again. Just let me do it again. So
I can do it again.
I know. I left that one out. So what are your two bads?
Not me. Oh, for my two bads, and boy, are there a lot to pick from.
Really? I couldn't find many.
Like. I'm looking at my list and I have like 10 to pick from, and it's like they're all trying to get through the doorway at the same time. Right. And they're all lodged in
bottleneck.
There. Yeah. I'll start with one that again, this really kind of set the tone for the movie. Early on, Chester is going to interview with Mullins for Better Job.
For Better Job, yeah.
And he is sexually harassing the female secretary there, the female assistant to the boss, and she's just giggling and having a great time, and it just like that again, it wasn't with kids there,
no,
but that for me really, it's like, oh, this is what we're gonna get out of it, and it just went downhill from there. So that's the bar that it established early on. And the second one, I'm just like, I'll just throw several of mine together. You kind of already covered like the cringiness and the creepiness of this movie.
Right.
This movie is also homophobic.
Oh yeah,
it's racist. At one point, he has the goalie is a girl of Eastern Asian descent, and he's like, well, yeah, she's become like the Great Wall. Like, you didn't have to say that. Right. Like, she's a good goalie.
Even meant complimentary. It's still just tone deaf. Like,
yeah. There was that conversation between Chester and Julie about black athletes.
Yeah.
Like, whoa, like, where did that come from? Like, it just, there's so many things this movie did that were unnecessary, that was just reaching for gags and reaching for jokes, and just none of them landed. So yeah, those are my two bads. A lot.
Yeah, there's a lot.
We could keep going
easily
here for a while. Hey, Oz, what's your one about Ladybugs?
I think I know the answer, but aside from that answer, playing it straight, why did Matthew put on shoes and socks while trying on that dress? Obviously, it was to lead into the gag that they were going for, but to play it straight, he was just trying on a dress, but he put on like the frilly socks and like and shoes to go with it. Like, You didn't need those on to try on a dress. So that's my Is why, like, if you're trying on a dress, why'd you go with the whole outfit? Like, does it make sense to me? What's your if you can find one?
Oh yeah, there wasn't a lot of Hans here. I'll run through a couple backup Hans here. Yeah, like the Mullins drinking at the game.
Yeah.
With, like wine glasses and like martini glasses. This league apparently doesn't call offsides either.
Oh no, I noticed that. I left that one alone because I'm like, you know what? They're not soccer purists, but no, it was you're open 20 yards downfield with way past the defense. Here you go.
Another preview, is how did Kim track down where Martha lives? Like somebody told me where Martha lived. Like nobody knows where Martha lived because Martha's not a real person. Right. So, but my real is during the montage. This movie did have a montage of them winning games. The Ladybugs are on the cover of the sports section of a Denver newspaper.
Yes, I thought that as well. I noticed that. Like, boy, the coverage of this league.
Yeah, this is like sports radio newsworthy out in Denver. So yeah, I got front page of the sports section. Ladybugs tally and victory.
slow news day.
Yeah, not a lot going on in Denver sports.
Nope.
Nuggets are bad. I don't think the Rockies had even become a team yet. Yeah. Broncos. Must have been coming off one of their eight Super Bowl losses to San Francisco.
The Avalanche weren't really doing much.
Nope. Oh yeah,
let's
send all coverage to the Ladybugs. Yeah. Yep. So hey, folks, that's Ladybugs as we continue Lady Movie Month.
And we'll be back next week with your film. What cinematic masterpiece are you bringing to the table?
Yes, as we continue with our theme of high quality lady movies.
To be fair, ladies, we did not maliciously do this.
No,
at all. This is just this is a comedy podcast.
Yes,
we are not poking fun at like, oh, let's get the worst ladies movies we could bust. No, it was just they're short.
Yes,
they're funny to talk about.
Yeah, some like Lady Hawk was like a decent movie. Yeah. Some like Ladybugs is an awful is something awful and gross. It should never be spoken of again.
And Three Men and a Little Lady was a surprise.
Yes. So next week, I think we'll find a movie that's maybe a notch above Ladybugs.
Yeah.
But also problematic in several ways as well. We're going back to is it 99?
Yeah.
I forget.
2000.
2000 for the Tim Meadows led The Ladies Man.
At least they're all of age in this movie.
Yeah, it doesn't have that kind of gross factor.
We see about the same level of skin from some characters, but luckily they're adults.
Yes.
Yeah. So, but yeah, Ladies Man. I mentioned via text. I got a soft spot for this one. I don't know why.
Well, I have a soft spot. You and I both do for Tim.
Yeah,
Meadows.
I do, and because I don't even remember like the SNL skit being overly funny.
I mean, it's supposed to be over the top,
and it was.
That doesn't completely remove.
No.
Yes, some of the ick factors to it, but again, it's supposed to be over the top. It's supposed to be a parody.
Yeah,
it's not celebrating this lifestyle.
No, and I never took it that way. But it's like it was like the skit was one recurring joke.
Yeah,
and
now it's that same joke for 90 minutes.
Well, kinda, because this movie takes the skit and they we'll get to it next week, but
yeah,
it's like they take the skit and then part with it like 10 minutes into the movie, and you're like, "Ooh, we're on uncharted territory here."
Ooh, he's not in the palm chair anymore.
It's kind of like what Hitchcock did with Psycho, like let you really think you were going down one path and then boom, left turn.
Yeah. Deep, thick plots of The Ladies Man.
Ladies Man and Psycho have a lot in common.
They do. We'll see if that makes my movie marriage.
Social media-wise, you guys can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. There is a Patreon link down below if you'd like to join in. Although after a movie like Ladybugs, I wouldn't blame you if you pulled your support.
If you set your computer on fire. and burn an effigy for each of
Gotta
us.
get a new smartphone now. I listen to the Ladies Bug episode. So, but no, we'll be back next week with the Ladies Man for another episode of Let's Talk About Flicks. I'm Oz.
I'm Curtis.
We'll see you guys then.